Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
This your son, sis? What's your name? What, Ebony? Or what's your son's name? Tevin? Okay, Ebony and Tevin. How y'all doing? So we're gonna, as my officer was saying, a lot of times in the churches you see an image of a white man, right? Blonde hair, blue eyes, right? You would think that they got that out of the Bible. However, as you mentioned, right, the scriptures describe a person that looks more like this, all right? And so we're gonna use Brother Tevin. Tevin, you like to play baseball or things, something like that, where 3 strikes you're out? Football? Well, they don't have strikes in football, but you know the concept, right? So we're going to have you identify, based on what we read, you tell me which of these images are more accurately depicted by the Bible, or it describes them, okay? So start at 1 and 1.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ.
So the revelation, Ebony, what's the root word for revelation? The revealing of Jesus Christ. That's right. Absolutely. So the Bible is going to reveal what Christ looks like. All right. Because he was a man, right, that walked the earth. So he had to look like something. Right? All right. Read on.
The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass.
So this was given to John so he can show unto the servants of Christ. Okay? So now let's jump over to verse 13.
Yes, sir. Verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man.
So John was seeing a person that looked like the Son of Man. Ebony, who's the Son of Man? Jesus Christ. That's right? Read on.
Yes, sir. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and gird about the paps with a golden girdle.
So his girdle was from underneath his chest down to like his loins, kind of like what we got here. So he had on a golden girdle. All right, read on.
Verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
All right, Tevin, you up. His head and his hairs. Which one of these images has white hair on his head? This one right here, right? So his head and his hairs were white like wool. Ebony, who on this earth has woolly hair? Primarily us. You're absolutely right. Does a Caucasian man have woolly hair? No. What about a Chinese man? Does a Chinese man have, no? Japanese? Maybe the East Indians. The ones from the Asia region. No, pretty straight, right? All right, so we're going to continue on.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So it was white in color, woolly in texture. Read.
As white as snow.
As white as snow, read on.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
So Tevin, which one of these images has eyes that are red as a flame of fire? This one here, right? So that's now 2 strikes against this image that's pushed in the churches today, right? Read on.
Verse 15. And his feet like unto fine brass.
All right, Tevin, I'm going to try it. You know what color brass is? Okay, Mom, tell them what color brass is. Absolutely, like a brown color. Right? Brass is a brown color. So Tevin, which one of these images has the skin tone is as a brown color? Okay, all right, so we went 3 for 3 on this one. So this guy is already struck out. But you know what? Maybe he hit a foul ball, so we're going to get some more on that thing.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace.
So Ebony, if you put some rice in a pot, you burn it. What color is it turning? Black.
Right.
Black. So Christ was a dark-skinned brother. All right? Those are the features we're describing. We got one more for you. Read on.
And his voice as the sound of many waters.
And and his voice as the sound of many waters. Have you taken Tevin to the Minnehaha Falls before? Not yet? Okay. Whenever you go by a waterfall, is it quiet? Is it soft? Or is it loud? Do you know, Tevin? No? No? You would think a waterfall is soft, but it is loud, right? Because Christ had to command the masses, right? So the image that they portray in the movies, they have this soft-spoken man right here, you know, oh, God is love, he loves everybody, so on and so forth, right? But the Bible is describing Christ as a black man with woolly hair, right? And his voice spake loud so he can teach the people, right? That's what we're out here to do. That's why we're coming back. So, Tevin, no more. Do not allow anyone to tell you that Christ was a white man. Right. Because you have some information that you can read for yourself out of the scriptures, out of Revelations 1 and 14 through 15, to give you the correct depiction of Christ. Right. All right? So, now, Ebony, why is that important that we understand what Christ looks like? Why is it important for your son right here? Absolutely. You're absolutely right. So he is a God on this earth. He is made in the image of God. Right. All right? And that's important because today our brothers and our sisters, we have the wrong mindset. Right. All right? We have low self-esteem. We run around killing our brothers and our sisters. All right? We run around killing one another. We run around raping brothers and sisters. Why? Because we got the white man on our mind. What do we try to do? We try to be like the white man, whether we want to admit it or not, right? When we look downtown and we see those big high-rise buildings, right? We try to get as much money as we can to be right down there with them, all right? When we look at the communities outside, we want to have everything that the white man has. Right. But what we have to understand is that we have to serve our God, all right? We must serve our God, and then he will provide that unto us, all right? So now, Sister Ebony, do you love God? Okay. How do you show that you love God? Loving others, all right. What else? Taking care of his people, his children. Okay. Reading his word, I like that. I love that, sis. I love that you said following his commandments, because that is the key. Let's get it straight out of the Bible. Say again. Don't sin. That's another good question, Tevin. We're going to what is sin? Get that. Get what is sin. Yeah, I'm going to have you speak on the mic.
When Jesus tells us to not do bad stuff, to not disrespect.
Okay, so when Jesus told us not to do bad stuff and not disrespect him, right? All right, so we're going to get for you the biblical answer to what is sin, because he did a great job. You're doing a great job of teaching him, but what we want to do is be able to teach him out of the word of God, so that way he can use God's words and not have to make it up himself. All right, let's read that.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law.
So if you commit sin, you transgress the law. Read on.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
So sin is the transgression or the breaking of God's laws. All right? So you got to ask yourself, if sin is the breaking of God's laws, then what are God's laws? That's a question that you must ask yourself. And that's something that Lord's will would be able to go over with you, so you can begin to understand, because in the churches we weren't taught God's laws. All right? You also mentioned that God's people, his people, he had a chosen group of people. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are his people. Everyone else to him are as nothing. That's coming straight out of the Bible. All right? So, let's get love. Yep, read that.
This is the book of John, chapter 14 and verse 15. If you love me.
So Christ said, if you love him, can you give Christ a hug and a kiss? You can't. Not right now. Right? Not right now. But he said, if you love me, do what?
If If you love me, keep my commandments.
We have to keep his commandments. All right, we have to keep his commandments. Is that in on that one? Yes. All right, give me Acts chapter 5 and verse 29. So we got to understand, again, what are God's commandments? We can't go off of what man says to do. We got to read it out of the Bible, and that's what we're going to show you. Read that.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men.
So we ought to obey God rather than men.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.